What if I told you that right now, your heartbeat wasn't just keeping you alive, it was keeping everything alive? Not metaphorically, literally. Imagine waking up in a world where your pulse is the engine behind your city's electricity. Every beat, a surge of power. Every thump in your chest, a spark lighting street lamps, spinning turbines, keeping servers cool, and hospitals running. And the catch? If your heart skips, just for a moment, everything goes dark, not just a flicker. Total blackout, silence, cold, chaos. Welcome to a world where your biology fuels civilization, and your survival is everyone's survival. At first glance, it might sound exhilarating, empowering, even. One person, unknowingly wired into an invisible grid. Walking through crowds with an entire metropolis humming to the rhythm of their arteries. But the moment you realize you are that person, and that your resting heart rate is the metronome of modern life, things begin to change. There's no such thing as relaxation anymore. No naps, no meditation. No moment of peace without consequence. The city feeds on your rhythm. And the city is always hungry. High-rise elevators glide up their steel veins because your heart hasn't given out. Neon lights bloom across glass towers because you haven't dared to sleep too deeply. Refrigerators buzz, traffic lights blink, emergency rooms stay lit all because you're still pumping. It wouldn't take long for scientists to scramble to understand how this happened. Perhaps a freak quantum link between your bioelectric signals and the city's power grid. Born from a lab accident, a solar flare, or some previously unknown biological trait suddenly awakened. Electrocardiologists and physicists working together, stunned to find that every time your SA node fires, it sends a microscopic burst of energy into the electromagnetic field, amplified, transformed, and routed through transformers like some biological fusion reactor. They'd give it names: biosync phenomenon, human pulse grid, or the hardcore effect. But no matter what they called it, the reality would remain. The city's fate now pulses in your chest. And society? Oh, it would transform overnight. You'd be the most protected human on the planet. Security around you would be tighter than a nuclear facility. No stairs, in case you trip. No stress, in case your heart spikes. Every emotion regulated. You'd live in a medically sealed apartment wired with eye monitors, biometric sensors, and emergency adrenaline injectors. Sleep cycles would be studied, dreams monitored. Conversations carefully scripted to avoid shock or heartbreak. You'd become the city's most fragile infrastructure. The economy would hinge on your health. Markets might fluctuate based on your EKG readout. News anchors would open broadcasts with updates on your pulse rate. Politicians would debate whether a backup system should be built, but no one could replicate the phenomenon. You're not just a person anymore. You're infrastructure, and people would have opinions. Protests might erupt. No one should hold the switch. While others call you a hero, a saint, a god machine wrapped in flesh. Your relationships would strain under the weight of consequence. A breakup, a panic attack, a sudden joy, all could bring the city to its knees. Now picture a night, the one night it almost happens. Maybe you're walking alone, flanked by drones, under a sky humming with distant turbines. Suddenly your heart stutters. Just one missed beat. Instantly. Lights flicker, subways screech to a halt, alarms blare. You stumble, hand to chest, feeling not just your body, but the city itself slipping. And then it recovers. One more beat, and everything snaps back. But the fear lingers. The fragility of it all. Not just of life, but of civilization. And what of the psychological toll? You'd live with the weight of 1,000,000 lives pressing against your ribcage. The constant pressure to exist. You'd become obsessed with your own biology. Every heartbeat a countdown. Every skipped beat a possible apocalypse. And when people look at you, they wouldn't see you. They'd see power, fear, dependency. You'd be both savior and slave. Now take that concept and stretch it across the globe. What if everyone's heartbeat powered their neighborhood? What if entire regions pulse to the rhythms of their inhabitants? What happens during a heart attack in New York? Or mass panic in Tokyo? Would children be trained from birth in heart rate control? Would athletes be national assets? Would meditation become illegal because it slows the pulse too much? In this bizarre but breathtaking world, humanity would finally feel viscerally the connection between our biological fragility and the machines we rely on. It would blur the line between flesh and infrastructure, between breath and building, between soul and circuit. And maybe, just maybe, it would remind us that even the most unassuming rhythms, like the quiet drum of your chest, hold the power to shape the world around us in ways we never imagined. So next time you feel your heart beating, imagine the lights it's keeping on.